Welcome to another edition of Night Courts. Rob Fisher, Brevin Knight with you. We thank you for joining us. You can follow us on Twitter, on X, at The Fish Nation, at Brevin Knight 22, at Night Court 22 is where you can get the show as well. And we're happy you're with us, happy you're listening. And if you're listening, you can also watch the show. You can watch the show at Bluff City Media YouTube channel. And you can catch the show that way as well. But we thank you for tuning in. BK, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. We got to do a little on location here for a little while, and so I had to take a little trip up to the house, and so things are good.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about your trip here in a moment.
Hold on, I got a string here. I gotta.
Oh, get rid of that string. Yeah, there you go.
Let me show my shirt.
Man, we're going to get to that shirt in a second because I love that shirt.
Yeah.
Buc'ees. But before we do that, I have some things to clean up from last week.
Uh-oh. Do we have some
mistakes? Carlos tweeted me, sent me a tweet, and he said he's an IT person and that my theory was correct on the Wi-Fi coming through the door. Yes, he said doors and walls interfere with Wi-Fi performance, but they shouldn't interfere that much.
No, so there's a caveat to it all. Like, I don't want you to feel bad, Rob.
Right.
But it really.
However, yeah. But I'm taking it as a win. I'm taking it as a win.
Is the door open or closed right now?
It's open.
Okay.
So we have good Wi-Fi today because the door's open.
All right, Good Wi-Fi.
So if you hear the dog or you hear the family, it's just part of the deal. It's part of the deal, part of the ambiance that we like to bring you here on Night Court.
I wanted to make sure that I kept the birds. I don't see we're accustomed. We have some birds. So I said, you know what? I still can create a bird effect by going outside. So we're keeping the birds as a staple for the show.
Absolutely, they're a big part of what we do. All right, so you're wearing a Buc'ees shirt. I'm assuming you went to Buc'ees on your trip.
Well, yeah, so it's a long trip. Me and the dogs, we take the 2-day, we made a 3-day trip to drive here. And on the stop, my first time, I used to hear people always talking about, have you ever been to Buc'ees? It's the best place. I'm like, bro, are y'all really talking about a gas station stop to this extent? They're like, no, bro, this is something on steroids. This is a Walmart of gas station stops. And so I'm like, whatever. So I get to experience it the first time. And I walk in and I'm like, first you pull up and there's a million gas pumps. and the crazy part is they're still mostly always filled. That's how many people are there. It's never just like, damn, why they got all these gas pumps for no reason. Nobody's even using them. But it's always filled. And then you go inside. And when you go inside, it is absolute heaven. You get from food. I'm going to start off first with how clean it is. I almost call it the Chick-fil-A of gas stations.
Yes,
because of the model that they use in terms of friendliness and cleanliness.
And those two, speed.
Yes. You cashier, whatever you need, they keep you moving quickly in it. And so you walk first, you notice how clean it is, and that's from outside to inside. The grass where you take your dogs to go walk, my dog's like, we can just stay here all day. I don't want to go nowhere else. The grass is perfect. They have these special where you put the garbage. Usually in these, when you have your dog poop bag, you go over, it's a nasty little green thing. You open it and throw your stuff in as quickly as possible because it's so nasty. This one was like a funnel. Like you open it up, you put it like in a little bit of a holding tank, and then you let it go, and then it throws it in the garbage. It was fantastic. You go inside, you have everything. Whatever you want to drink, from alcohol to water. You got peanuts galore.
Oh,
the stop, whatever you want in terms of nuts, they got it. Whatever you want in terms of beef jerky. I didn't even know beef jerky could have as much as it has. They got sushi, chopped brisket. It's everything. I got the brisket sandwich. I got peach cobbler. That was fantastic. And then you can also go down and you can buy houseware, clothes. So while I was there, I said, you know what? I'm going to get me a Buc'ees and live music, Tennessee, baby.
Yeah.
Because this is an experience. If you're ever on the road and you get a chance and you see Buc'ees, please stop and just go in and check it out, because it's amazing.
I've been to Bucky's in Walls, Alabama.
Uh-huh.
One that I went to, and yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's crazy how fast you can get through the place and how much stuff that they have. It's like a Walmart, a miniature Walmart,
Yes.
and for how many people are there, how many people are at the gas pumps, how many cars are in the massive parking lot. You move in and out, and you move in and out quickly. I went to the one down in Foley, Alabama, as well on vacation. So I've been to two, Bucky's. I got me a shirt, of course.
Yeah. Well, you kidding me?
Shirt.
I got this was my second or third, and it's a Walmart with a Chick-fil-A touch though.
Yes.
Not the Walmart touch. Walmart
No,
with
the Chick-fil-A touch. Yes.
Yes. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So how was the drive? Are you a speed limit guy? Are you a eight over? What do you do?
Yeah, I try to stay 15 over as best possible.
Right.
I'm a fast driver, and this is the other thing on my drive that was something I just want to ask people, and people can write in and say if they have or not. Has anyone ever seen the aircraft radar? When you're driving and they say speeds checked by aircraft, has
Right.
anyone ever seen that aircraft or
No.
know what that aircraft is? Because literally for us, it seems like once you see that, that means no cops drive faster. It doesn't mean like don't worry about it. They're up there in those clouds, or it's a blue day. It's just there's not a cloud in the sky. You can't be hiding. We would have to see you. I've never seen the speed check aircraft. And so if anyone has this, just let me know if you ever seen it.
And what kind of aircraft is going to be up there for 24 hours?
We're just riding around with a long range radar.
I mean, my God, what a boring job that is. Go stand above this area of the highway and radar people. Okay, what happens if they're speeding? I don't know.
We'll send it to them in the mail.
I mean,
same way you get told by mail, you get ticket by mail.
Yeah,
Then I'm
right.
fighting it. I'm contesting it. As soon as they do, I'm contesting it. That
Ticket
wasn't
by
in my
mail.
car.
Yeah, the ticket by mail thing is a scam, by the way, as well. The whole went through the red light deal, and you get the thing in the mail,
Yes.
and it says send it to Nashville. Well, wait a second. What am I sending it to Nashville for?
All right. I want at least let me send it to help the people in Memphis.
Yeah.
I ran the light here in Memphis.
No, that's when you crumble that up and throw that away. That and not to say that I like to break the law, but I'm just saying I don't. But it even says on the ticket that basically this is not a real ticket. I mean, they're just trying to get money from it.
Because my other show that I watch is Parking Wars.
Oh,
Parking Wars. That's all those people. And when we get those boots. You don't want to be on the boot list.
You
don't get yourself on the boot list.
No, you don't want to. You don't want to be on the boot list. Bad list to be on. All right, let's get into the playoffs because then we got a lot of NBA news as well that we can get into. Yep. Boston Celtics ended it. It's over. That was quick. That was Indiana had themselves a chance in game 1. They had themselves a chance in game 4. And I just thought that Indiana, to me, the problem throughout the series for Indiana was, Brevin, come playoff time, how you have to value every possession.
Yes.
And they just didn't.
Well,
and just bad mistakes at just the most inopportune times throughout the series.
Right. And the other thing we talked about and why I had the Knicks beating him in the last series was we talked about like who's the guy? Like who when it gets down to it at the end of the game, who is the ball going to for there to be a play made? Halliburton, I think, has gotten better this year and is continuing to get better. But I don't know if he's the guy you say, put the ball in your hands and go make the winning basket. Now, can he make the right play and pass it to somebody else? But make the basket. You know, you look at the Knicks, you say Jalen Brunson's that guy. You look at the Celtics, you say that they got 2 guys, and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. You look at Dallas, 2 guys. And that's why Dallas is being able to dominate, and Kyrie and Luka. You look at Minnesota, and I think a lot of us said, oh, you see Anthony Edwards ascending to that point. But there's still another level at doing it, and you're seeing the guys that do it at another level. And I just thought Indiana didn't have they didn't have the guy to be able to help them in those situations. And I think that's what's happened because these are all late game losses.
Yes.
This isn't Boston dominating the game and winning, running away. This was just late in the game, Boston being able to make winning plays when Indiana just wasn't able to.
Is Boston a great team?
I think Boston is a very, very good team. I don't say great team is because I think they mess with the game at times, and they rely so heavily on the 3-point shot. And I think once we get to this next series, hopefully we'll start to see what happens to them when teams just totally take the 3-point shot away and force them to be okay with making twos. And so I think that limits it a little in terms of being able to say a great team, because a great team, I tend to say is they could do it again the next year. I think its circumstances will help them, but they're an excellent basketball team, and when they're locked in and playing the game in totality, they're fantastic at what they get done.
I mean, their results would say they are a great team because they've just dominated their way all the way to the NBA Finals without even being tested. You'd think in this next series they'll be tested, and we'll see what they're really made of. But I mean,
I think they'll be even better in those. Yeah, I think they may even be even better in those tests because I believe in their eyes they felt they were just superior to these teams that they played in the Eastern Conference. And when you have a mentality that I'm superior to you, then there's a little bit, you can have a little bit of the letdowns. And we saw letdowns within games, but at the end of the day, I give them max credit because they still win games, even when you watch them play and say, man, they shouldn't have won those games. So I think there's just the greatness side of it is you go out and dominate every night. You don't have the nights of the letdowns. You don't have the games where now you get blown out or you give teams an opportunity. I think that's just the part that keeps it away from being great. But it's only a notch below that.
Yeah. Well, they're on to the NBA Finals, and they will take on, well, it looks like the Dallas Mavericks, who are up 3-0 on the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is a bit of a shock with Dallas being up 3-0. I would say a big shock.
A huge shock. On Minnesota side, I think they got stagnant and bogged down, and I feel like they're not playing fast enough. Like they'll get rebounds, and I call it almost like 5th grade basketball. You get a rebound, and it's like rebound, like bro. I mean, what? Get the rebound, kick it, and then go. So many times they're playing against Dallas's half-court defense, and to Dallas's credit, they've just continued to get better and better as the season has gone along. They really took a turn for the positive after All-Star break in terms of their defensive efficiency. And so with that being said, you would like to not play against that half-court defense every possession. And then Anthony Edwards, well, it's almost like, remember we used to talk about with Jaren Jackson Jr. during this season, when you have the ball out on the floor and you bring the ball up the floor and then you handle the ball, you get the screen, you try to make it happen. Well, the other 5 defenders all know exactly where you are at all times. It makes it easy to load up, and it makes the game harder for you. I think that's what's happened with Anthony Edwards is that they've done so much with him out on the floor, handling the ball against a good defensive team, that now the struggle for him to get good shots has been there every game. So that it never lends itself for him to ever find a rhythm. And so a credit to that is Dallas's defense. But I think on Minnesota's side, play faster, move the ball, let someone else handle the ball, let him catch the ball with a live dribble off of a screen, may free him up. But they just got to get more movement, and they're going to have to. I know that the big thing was they got Rudy Gobert, and we're not going to let teams play him off of the floor. Well, if you're just going to be inflexible, then you're not going to give yourself a chance to see, can you change this? Because I think another big part is because he's not dominating the offensive glass, he's not dominating in terms of blocks, rebounds that start the outlet, then you're losing, because once you go on the defensive side, you still can pull him away from the basket at times and make them play pick and roll defense against guys who, if you lay off, they're going to torture you. And so to maybe use Naz Reid and Cat playing together at times, or Naz Reid with Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson has had really good minutes for them, but they're gonna have to make a major adjustment in tonight's game or in their game 4 in order for them to get a victory.
It's surprising. Dallas's defense has been so good, but maybe the most surprising thing is Luka's playing really good defense.
Yeah, so listen, look, he and Kyrie, they both have bought in, and because the thing is, when Kyrie now he starts to talk, he's talking basketball all the way, which is he knows the only way that championships are won, you have to have some level of defense. You can't win a championship just being offensive minded and think that you're going to make shots every night. And so because of their dedication on the defensive side, is a main reason why they are in the position they're in.
And I think the biggest thing for Dallas has been, because I thought it was a concern going into the playoffs for Dallas. I thought it was 2 guys, and that's it. But their others are playing really well, and they need their others to play well, because at all times they could have the 2 best players on the floor. But then what are your other guys? Where are they going to be ranked with the guys on the floor? And they've actually played, I think, better than what I expected, at least in this postseason.
Man, they've played fantastic, but they've also not been put in positions to be uncomfortable. Like defensively, Minnesota hasn't continued to run double teams at Luka and Kyrie to make them have to make shots over and over, and then make those shots in winning time. But when they've been given those opportunities, they've been good. PJ Washington has been good on both. I think both bigs, Lively and Gafford, have done a tremendous job with screens, rolls, being active defensively. Lively making some more plays off of it. And then they're young guys. They started playing Hardy. You think about this, Tim Hardaway Jr. gets no minutes because with Josh Green and with Hardy now playing out there, both of those guys have done a good job in timely shot making. But the biggest thing is great defense. Derrick Jones Jr. defense and continues to knock down corner threes at a high rate. And so, their other players have done a good job of stepping up and fulfilling their roles. But then on any given night, one of them exceeds what their role is.
Yeah. I liked this tweet that I saw. The worst field goal percentage over any 3-game span in the playoffs in the last 3 seasons. Number 1 is Anthony Edwards, 29.8%. That was in games 1 through, or I think in games 1 through 3, or maybe that was game 6 of the last series, and then games 1 and 2. But number 2 on the list was Dylan Brooks at 30%, going 15 of 50 back in 2022. And it said Ant's comparison went from Michael Jordan to Dylan Brooks in less than a week.
Remember we talked about that, and I was like, man, listen, the comparison is just a mentality.
Right.
Like he hasn't done it enough for us to go much further than. Now, is it intriguing? Yeah, intriguing, because what you see and what the outlook can be for him. But the reality is, there's a learning process to this entire situation, and this is just another learned experiment for him. But he's young, and I think there's things that they can do to help him be better, to help him get easier shots within the game, as I said earlier, with movement. But the other one is Karl-Anthony Towns has reverted back to a little bit of the old Karl-Anthony Towns, which is, I'm going to stand out and shoot these threes no matter what.
Yep.
Whereas the Karl-Anthony Towns that we saw throughout the season was, I'm going to continue to attack you. I'll play in the mid post. We'll do these other ways for me to be an effective scorer over just the predetermined, I'm going to shoot another 3. And again, it's just a matter of using them in a different way, throwing them the ball in that mid-post area, or letting him be the down screen guy that Edwards pops out. Now, whether you throw it to him in the post or he clears out and Edwards plays one, just something that forces them to be in other areas of the court to allow them another way to see the basketball go through the basket.
I was thinking when these series began, the conference finals, who were the best 5 players remaining? And I thought your top 3 were Luka, Kyrie, and Anthony Edwards.
Right.
4, Tatum.
Yep.
Who's 5?
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
I don't think Jaylen Brown gets enough credit for how good he is. And
it should be Halliburton, shouldn't it?
Yeah, but again, it's those winning moments. Like, is he a good player? Did he have good numbers? Yes. It's not, but it's the winning moments. Like in the end of those games when they needed to get a shot. Did you get the shot or did you allow an easy lane? Like that, it was always the missing piece for Indiana. So
yes,
it's hard for me to say that. I've seen Jaylen Brown in these series be a guy to jump up and get 40 on the heel of having 30 the night before, playing great defense. So I still give Jaylen Brown the nod over Halliburton and anyone else at this point.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, it's going to be very difficult for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Dallas Mavericks leading that series 3-0. Boston leading 4 games, or they win their series in a sweep 4-0. And now they'll both get a nice little rest before they have to start the NBA Finals.
Listen, which is big for them because now you think about this. I wonder what that does with Porzingis.
Yeah.
Where that puts him in terms of his availability for the finals.
Yeah. JB Bickerstaff fired despite 99 wins over the last 2 seasons, getting his team to the conference semifinals. Not enough for JB. We talked about it last week, all the dysfunction reportedly in an article that was written basically immediately after the Cavaliers were knocked out. It comes out about all the dysfunction with the team. And we said that it usually ends with a coach losing his job, and JB Bickerstaff loses his job. And I don't know. The first, I know that it's part of the business. I know it's an ugly part of the business. But my thinking is when you hear the names that they're coming, it's like, really? So that's the coach? That's the guy that's going to get you over the edge.
That can get you over the top.
Because they haven't gotten anybody over the edge. James Borrego hasn't gotten anybody anywhere. Dave Yeager, for how much I love him and for how good of a coach I think he is, he hasn't taken anybody anywhere either.
Right. You start to maybe I think that's the aircraft.
The aircraft
that you hear that is the radar aircraft. So we talked about it and they sent it out just to let me know.
Checking on us now. Great.
Exactly. Well, know what? I'm not in the car. And the thing for JB, this is what I say, and this goes for all coaches. It's this has turned into unrealistic expectations for teams. And why I say that is not every team is ready to win a championship. There are steps you got to take to put yourself in position to win it. And I thought that what they had done in Cleveland had become a team that was muddled in nothing. And JB, I thought they created a little bit of a culture. You were able to find a star player. And I know you talked about something last time about some of the things that were going on behind closed doors. There's rarely an NBA situation where there's not something going on behind closed doors because of the amount of time that we spend with one another. At the end of the day, if everyone keeps the goal of winning in mind, then all of those things play out as they play out. And so I just thought that he had done a good enough job, at least to deserve what happens from here. You still played an entire season with Evan Mobley hurt in and out multiple times. You had their star guy. Why I forget his name always? For the Cavs, Donovan Mitchell. You had him out for periods during the game. You don't get Jared Allen in the playoffs at all. He gets hurt during the playoffs. He's out but you still win a series, and you still move on to the next series. And the injuries just were too much to overcome because you were playing against a really good team. So I think it's tough. I go back to what happened with Adrian Griffin in Milwaukee. I mean, you got the second best record in the NBA, and they say, well, we don't know if you're the one to get us over the top. Yeah, but the guy you bring in is only 5-6 games over 500 from that point on. He didn't change in terms of the wins and losses. And so with the new owners that we have into this game, and as things go as it goes, you would hope that realistic expectations start to come back into the fold, other than these unrealistic things that it's going to happen. Winning a championship happens just like that, because it doesn't happen in that way at all.
Right. It's been nice to see over the last couple of years that maybe the Sacramento Kings are functional and not dysfunction all the time. Yeah. And now you have the story that Mike Brown's contract talks have stalled. He's got 1 year left on his deal.
Again, I don't understand when you are ascending, and the guy that is sitting there helping you ascend, there becomes a problem. Now, we don't know what is asked for in those things, but you would hope that Sacramento would not mess this one. They messed it up with Mike Malone. They had the guy that could have continued to get you where you wanted to go with what he did. They let him go, and now I think you got another bright mind there at the front, and that can continue, because he's been around winning basketball. He's with the Warriors for so long, understands it, and they've been able to build a culture, and they built the fan base again. Like that has become again a tough place to win games. And so don't throw a monkey wrench in it. Just kind of let things continue to go in a positive direction.
How do you let it get to this point even?
I don't know. I don't know, because I don't know what you're expecting.
Right.
Like, the thing that you should be expecting is success, continued success. And with that continued success, hopefully we jump in there with a chance to win a championship. But this, like, you're going to be in the run for a championship every year, that's not real. It's just not realistic. You want to be able to say, we won a series, we won another series. Oh, we were right there. Maybe tweak this. Okay, we won this. Like, and you keep moving, but you don't go from irrelevant to relevant overnight without there being a process.
Right.
And it seems like those teams they're on a process to stay going in a positive direction.
Now, at least the Lakers know exactly what they're getting. And this is my favorite comment of the week. Shams tweeting this out. The Lakers are infatuated with JJ Redick's potential, according to league sources, viewing him as a Pat Riley-like coaching prospect. What? How? What gives you any indication that that's the case?
That's the way that you try to validate your choice before making a choice. I want to try to validate it in the media. Like, so if we do this, it's because we're seeing him as being the next Pat Riley of basketball. And I'm like, I guess if you befriend the right people at the right time, then opportunities present themselves. Hey, listen, there's no secret that at the end of the day, this is a relationship business. And I'm talking about from players going to teams, from coaches going and becoming a coach of the team. Somewhere there's a tie that allowed you an opportunity to be in that situation. And so miraculously, the podcast starts, and all of a sudden you're in the running, because now you're going to be a head coach of an NBA team. Listen, I would only wish him nothing but the best in that situation. But the comparison to a Pat Riley, as you say, is one that goes a little bit further, a little bit far. Like, you're stretching.
Yeah, watch out, Taylor Jenkins, because I host a podcast and I could be the next Grizzlies head coach.
And I will be.
Why not?
I'll be right next to you.
You're going to be right next to me. That's right. And I'm going to need you. Man, I would love to see try and get the players' attention. That'd be great.
Look right here. Look in on this.
Man.
But yeah, no, listen, if he can, well, I'm no hater on anybody in terms of getting the job. I want nothing but the best, and if they feel like he's the best for the job, then he can just be the best for the job. But that's, you also don't want to put him, like, if you do take him, then now you're telling people that he's about to be like Pat Riley. So now you put an expectation really high, really early on him.
It'd be kind of weird that the head coach and the star player do a podcast together.
All about who you
odd.
know. It's
Yeah.
all about who you know.
Kind of weird stuff.
And when the organization thinks as highly of LeBron James as they do.
Yeah. Since you were driving under the drone and on this long trip, did you get to watch any TV?
You know what I just watched was Bridgerton. It came back out. The first season 3, they put out 4 episodes. Man, I continue to say, I don't know what, somehow people, and this is why they're great at what they do. The people that write shows, the people that direct, do all of those things, they have been able to capture such a wide audience of people with the way that the show is put together, from the costumes to how vibrant the colors are, the plot that there is, how it continues to evolve. Man, I literally was mad when the 4th episode ended. Like, damn, man, I gotta wait till June. That's why I don't like watching these shows until they all come out. But yeah, that's that one. I just finished watching that one. That's the one that's got me right now.
Creeping along on Sons of Anarchy. And it's funny that everybody I say, have you seen Sons of Anarchy? They're like, yes. I didn't know it was 16 years old.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you. Like you act like you finding something new. Like, man, this must be like it just came out, huh? I'm like, oh.
I had heard of it. I didn't know it was 2008 though. Man.
But how good it's to this day, still very relevant.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I need a new show though. Since I gotta wait for my Bridgerton, I gotta find something else.
Okay. All right, a couple of shout out hugs,
okay.
And toasts to people.
Toast,
one, I got my Ronald Acuna shirt on today. Shout out and a toast to Ronald Acuna. It's too bad. Torn ACL. He is done for the season. He's my favorite player to watch in all of Major League Baseball. And
mine too. I feel bad.
And yeah, he tears his ACL, and it was bad just to see him go down in a heap in Pittsburgh. So shout out to Ronald Acuna. Yeah, hopefully a good recovery.
Nice stadium, that Pittsburgh stadium, beautiful stadium.
It is a beautiful stadium. You're right. Yeah,
I've been to that with the city in the background. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Also, Bill Walton passed away this week. Surprising news, I think, for a lot of us who I didn't know he was battling cancer, and Bill Walton passed away. The stories that everybody has about Bill Walton just inundated Twitter last night, and it was incredible to see those stories, and it was kind of cool to hear those stories about Bill Walton.
I mean, he was, you know, when people always say that bigger than life personality, that was Bill. Yeah. That was him.
Yeah.
You know, and he brought that. The thing I credit him for is I don't know if there was ever a day that he didn't have that energy level. Man, and no matter what was going on at what time, he always could bring the moods up.
Yeah,
and that is a gift to be able to inspire people in that way and create that type of feeling within people. And so he will be sorely missed.
Yeah, even our partner Chris Vernon on his show, Chris Vernon's show, he had a chance to interview Bill Walton, and his stories talking about him were great. And he even he sent it out on Instagram, I think last night, or on Facebook maybe. Bill Walton signed an autograph for Chris's son, and all it just talked about is how living life to the fullest, and the sunshine, and I mean everything. And
he was California.
It was an awesome note that Bill Walton left for Vernon's son, and so all of those stories were really cool to hear. So shout out to Bill Walton. Toast to
you, Bill.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, well, BK, we'll let you settle in, and we'll do this again next week. We'll be talking NBA Finals next week.
Yes, NBA Finals. It should be It looks like Dallas. I mean, no team has come back from 3-0, and it's going to take a huge effort from Minnesota. I would like to see them at least win one game.
Yeah. You know what you can do while the NBA takes a break will be to watch the NHL conference finals.
Is it the? I know the rain. What are the counts? Where are we at? What are the games?
Rangers are 1-1, I believe.
Okay.
Heading to Florida. Or no, Rangers lead 2-1, heading to Florida. And Dallas is up 2-1 on Edmonton after winning last night as well. So, but Rangers in Florida tonight, game 4. Go Rangers.
Oh yeah, we got what's called tonight.
We do have Dallas, Minnesota tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm rooting for the Rangers. I'm rooting for them to win. And I'll turn it on. Now I go heavy into golf. Now.
Yeah, I think they're the best team left. I like them.
Okay.
So I'm going to Rangers and Edmonton is my pick. That's who I hope's in the finals. So
Rangers
we'll see.
And Edmonton. Okay.
But we'll break that down fully next week.
All right. Sound good. Looks like Rob you didn't open your door. The door's not cracked. It's not open enough. You're freezing.
Did I freeze?
You froze. I'm trying to tell you. You probably got to open it all the way. I mean, if you open it halfway, then that's still taking a little bit of the signal away.
Yeah, that could be it. I see there's something draped in front of me here that I could open the drape. It could be the drape, not to come through.
Carlos is the guy we go to.
Carlos, if you could stop by, Carlos.
Exactly, our IT department. Carlos heads our IT department. We got Donovan. He heads our stats. He's with our stats crew, and we got Carlos on IT. Listen, we're growing.
We're growing.
Since we come over to Bluff City Media, we're growing, man.
Staff's getting better.
Staff's getting better.
You can follow us on Twitter at The Fish Nation, at Brevin Knight 22, at Night Court 22, and don't forget you can view the show on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. That'll do it for us this week. For Carlos, for Donovan, for Kenny, for Brevin, I'm Fish. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again next week here on Night Court.
Thank you for listening to the Night Court podcast. If you enjoyed Rob and Brevin, hit that like button, subscribe to the Bluff City Media YouTube channel, and enjoy the content. We will see you back here next time.